Where are you based out of, by the way?
I'm in Goa.
What? You live in Goa?
What is entrepreneurship according to you?
The best thing is there's no one to tell you what to do. The worst thing is there's really no one to tell you what to do.
And my first video on YouTube was in 2011 when I didn't know anything about
Oh.
YouTube.
Last year we had COVID to blame. I think COVID was also like a wake up call.
It's a fact that I know why I got the clicks. Looking at my parents, people know this is a North Indian.
Is there like a section of audience that also says that no, you have no right to review Malayalam
Yeah.
movies and all that?
I think Prima I had a big issue and people
Oh,
were
you
not
didn't like
happy.
Premam? Like for me, I'm a huge fan of films that just suck me into that universe.
How do you decide to quit a job? That's where I want to
Oh,
go.
so I knew at some point that I'm different from others, but I never knew that this could become a job. We didn't understand that like starting a business needs a very important thing, which is money. Everything was going great. 2019 was amazing, like our best year ever. And then 2020 happened.
What was it that you said, okay, I'll take this risk? Quitting a job, starting something new, investing the money there.
We run behind these past victories more than future possibilities. See, Dark Knight, I know it's a great film and everything, but I still won't call it like Nolan's best.
Running a YouTube channel single-handedly, I'm responsible for what I do, right? No one else has to face it. No one else's life is in danger or livelihood is in danger.
You know, all this accountability and responsibility is what makes you work even harder. I understand. Yeah, I have privilege in the sense everyone struggles, but the struggle is just on different levels. And I get this thing all the time that it's easy for you to start.
Are you satisfied in life?
That's what one thing I look at is I don't even care about a college degree. Okay.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter where you come from. Can you do this work or not?
Like our education is about fear, it's not about
Yeah.
curiosity. I still get nightmares that my 12th board exams are here and I have not studied.
He says this fact that no one owes you anything, you owe it to yourself. You have to make your place in the world.
So let's come to this, man. We have to talk about this.
Oh wow. Yeah. I've really started like since this book, I really started looking at life as like a never-ending infinite video game. Especially in our country. We create gods out of so many people.
We are so spoon-fed throughout our lives that we just don't know, like that I don't know what I don't know, and I felt that throughout my life a lot.
If you're anything outside of this particular circle of society, you might be looked down upon. There's no distinction of work. Work is your life. Life is your work.
Hello guys, I'm Nona and welcome to another podcast. And today I got to interact with Raunaq Mangottil, co-founder of Fully Filmy, now a YouTuber. If you don't know about him, do check out his channel, link in the description. We had a great and a long discussion about films, about entrepreneurship, about the struggles he faced, and hopefully you find all of it helpful and you can apply it in your own lives. And if you enjoy this, do like, share and subscribe to the channel for more. Also now all the podcasts are available on Spotify too to listen. The link to it is in the description. So sit back, relax and enjoy this discussion. How are you? Early morning?
Yeah, it was a long night, so
Okay.
it was a kind of a late morning. Yeah. Where are you based out of, by the way?
I'm in Goa.
What? You live in Goa?
Yeah.
Oh, you stay with your family in Goa itself.
So we moved in here in 2010. So my
Wow.
father got a job here, and yeah, first of all, thank you for coming, giving your
I
time
know,
for this.
man. Like, I'm just sorry it took so long to make this happen, but
No,
yeah, glad
that's
to
all
be here
right.
finally.
That's all right. Thank you for that. And the purpose of this is, for podcasts I do on the channel is for me. It's like, okay, I make videos, some for the people who watch the videos. Some things I want to do it for myself, and I have to talk to people, understand how they live their life and how they go about it. And I have to know from you, how you started Fully Filmy, your entrepreneurship, then YouTube channel, and all of that, and what we can learn from your life.
Oh, wow.
And hopefully people watching and listening, they can implement that in their life. And I think I would love this podcast will be really amazing because the type of content you cover on your channel is what I try to explore in the podcast with the people who are here. So I
Right,
think it
right.
will be a great session, hopefully.
Yeah, even I don't know what I do on my channel, but if you have like an understanding of that, then great. Yeah.
First of all, TVF Pictures or Silicon Valley?
Oh, um, I want to say TVF Pictures because it's Indian,
Yeah.
because it's hit. But Silicon Valley, I watched it like thrice or four times over and over again. So I have like a softer, like a much closer, because it shows the entire journey, right?
Yeah.
Like from when the idea was nothing to how they basically almost destroy the world, kind of.
Yeah.
So I think that journey is much much more expansive. I spent much more time with it. And TVF Pictures, really, I was expecting another season, which hasn't come like for a really long time. So, yeah, Silicon Valley. Man. What about you?
I go for TVF Pictures because mostly because in TVF Pictures we never really get to know the idea, and the show is always
Oh,
building
yeah.
up to that idea, and but the show is all about what is it's like to be an entrepreneur. You have to
Yeah,
sell
yeah,
yourself, not the product. And I
yeah.
think that is kind of explored in Silicon Valley through comedy, and sometimes it's really out there, and you're like, come on, it's like I know these characters will now make mistakes, so the plot can go ahead, at some point. So it becomes a little okay. I know what they're trying to do. The comedy is
Yeah.
first, then the message. And I
Yeah.
think both are like maybe it's because it's American, so it's kind of disconnected. Maybe that can be a point.
No, it's not. That's the thing. That's the thing about Silicon Valley, right? Even if it's American, even if it's tech, literally
Yeah.
part of Silicon Valley, and we don't have a tech product, but we have created like a brand, right? The thing is, pretty much every journey, every entrepreneurial journey, right? Whether
Yeah.
you're an extremely small company or something as big as Nike, Apple, whatever, it's the same template. Like example, I was reading Shoe Dog, which is the story of early years of Nike and
Okay.
how they built the brand. And it felt like I was reading part of my life only, just on a much bigger scale.
Yeah.
But they've been through the exact same problems of not having enough money to buy stock. And when you buy stock, there's some other competition that attacks. Through all this, you have to manage like a family also, and
Yeah.
how his wife chips in when he's not making enough money. All of this, all of us have seen at different points in our life. So
Yeah.
I don't think it's about American. I think that journey can be identifiable with everyone. But having said that, TVF Pictures, what I really remember one thing. Like I don't remember much about the show because I watched it only once. But the story that he says about the Tazos, right? I think it
Yeah.
was about the Tazos, that how he
Yeah.
used to collect Tazos, and that still stays fresh in my mind. So it's more relatable, but Silicon Valley as a journey is more expansive. Like you get to see an entire journey, and TV features kind of, how do you say, um, it it holds back. Like it leaves me longing for a little more.
Yeah.
And I think they had announced the second season, but it never happened.
I
So
think what I've heard, they even shot it,
huh.
but I think there was some Me Too allegations and something went wrong with the
Oh yeah,
production or
yeah, yeah,
something like that. So I think I don't know. Like, let's see. Hopefully, we
yeah.
get to see the next season because they have planned it like that. So it'll be interesting
Yeah,
to see
it's
where
it's
it
sad.
goes.
No, it's like the best entertainment companies
Yeah.
like TVF, AIB, they go on such a high and they hit such a high note, and then something has to happen, and then everything is destroyed.
Yeah.
And now I don't know whom to watch now. TVF is still there; it still makes great shows, but I don't know. It's still not the same. They were much more raw and everything earlier. And AI, I'm a huge fan of AIB,
Yeah.
but it's just sad to see what's happening.
It's very cliche thing, right? Like even in I think you're talking about there are not many entrepreneurial films in India, content in
Yeah.
India except that. I think there was this Netflix film, Upstarts, I think, and it's about them. Yeah, yeah,
Someone just messaged me that on like I think there was some comment on my video. They're saying, yeah, check that out.
yeah.
But
So
apart from that, there aren't many.
yeah, no, no,
If you
no.
think about it.
So even in that, right, the story is basically, same that they plan a thing with friends, and then the guy who really found the idea, he goes a different path and becomes rich, and other people are left behind, and then the whole redemption arc, and it feels like it's very cliche. But if you look through, in real life, everyone goes through that only, right? Each and every person who does it,
Yeah, yeah.
it's very it becomes the paradox kind of a way that
Hmm.
you feel it's cliche. I've seen it many times, but that's what reality is. How can you change it to
Yeah.
that's
Cliches
very
exist
interesting.
because it's real, it's happened.
Yeah.
That's why cliches exist. But how you tell it is a completely different thing. Like how you reinvent the cliches. Example, like I know you've watched Sarpatta
Yeah.
Parambarai, and I think your whole family watched it and you guys gave a review and all,
Yeah.
right? It was really cute, by the way. And
Thanks.
the thing is, it is a cliche journey, no? Like
Yeah.
the beat of a sports film is such a cliche journey. This guy is out of nowhere, like he's somewhere down and he comes up, and how he climbs one by one by one, and he has this coach figure who trains him, and then he fails again, then he rises up. It's a cliche.
Yeah.
But each scene, how they've like built so much tension, how they've made a single scene about boxing, but they don't show the boxing much. it's all about the interpersonal dynamics, what this person is thinking about that person, what they are discussing. Like the entire scene where in the earlier part of the film, right, where this guy comes and he says that I'll do it, like
Yeah.
I'll fight this guy, when everyone is saying no, and we don't know whether the coach is playing mind games also, we're not very
Yeah.
sure. So there is so much of drama within that. And then the fights itself, like the Dancing Rose fight, like how they use time to, you know, show, to build up so much,
Yeah.
right? So it's cliches exist and you have to use cliches. That's how you relate to something. But then how you tell it is a completely different
Yeah.
story.
I think if you don't use cliche, then it will be like, oh, I don't relate to this, you know. I don't know what is this about. Never
Yeah, it's
experienced
not
it.
cliches, but it's like story beats, no? Like,
Yeah.
in the sense, that's what cliche is. I don't know. It has like a negative connotation for some reason.
Yeah.
I don't know what's the right word for it. Like, is it a template or a structure?
Template would be, yeah. So, you know, you're an entrepreneur, but I would ask you, you know, what is entrepreneurship according to you? For you, what is the meaning of it? I'll just read the Google definition: the activity of setting up a business or businesses taking on financial risk in the hope of profit. So that's the Google definition. I want to know what's your definition.
My definition is pretty simple. It's working on your own terms.
Yeah.
That's it. Earlier, even 5 years ago, the definition of an entrepreneur was very different. You have to like start a company, you have to build a team and everything. But right now, even if you take Instagram, right? Even if you take so many influencers or creators, whatever you want to call it, all of them are entrepreneurs. They are building one particular brand. They have created something. Now they have leverage, and then you have other brands who are approaching them that, you know, they use their audience to spread something about their brand. And that's pretty much it. Working on your own terms, which is the best thing in the world and also the worst thing in the world. Like, the best thing is there's no one to tell you what to do.
Yeah.
The worst thing is there's really no one to tell you what to do, right? You're alone in so many things. You don't know whom to look up to. You don't know if other people will be helpful or not. And whatever advice other people give, you have to, again, there's cliches. And then within that, how you reinvent and do something is, pretty much it. Yeah.
And even when you hit a setback, right? Like, there's, you know, it's easy to blame someone, but in this field, there's no one to blame. You know, it was your choice.
Exactly.
It was not a necessity. It was not forced upon you. So I think it's more, you know, in that, I think the risk-taking factor comes in there, right?
Yeah.
So
now we have, in the sense, last year we had COVID to blame.
Yeah.
Like, how did this happen? But then, thing is, it has happened to everyone. And like, just last night I was talking to a friend about how I don't want to get into details, but how badly it's affected people, not just entrepreneurs, but everyone who even works for someone else who's a small part of like a big team. How people have even killed themselves. Like, so many people have died by suicide because of they can't take the pressure of, they have so many mounting loans and everything like that. So I was trying to find, like, we were all trying to blame COVID for this, but the thing is, I think COVID was also like a wake-up call. It just held a mirror to us saying that, you know, you've been doing a lot of things wrong. You don't need all of these things. Because right now we're working with like a very small team. There was one point where we had around 40 people in the office, like 30-40 people in the office. It was really a lot of fun and everything, but at the same time, it wasn't necessary. You think that you need like a big team, you need these people and all that, but you have to look at your numbers and everything, and then you figure out, no, you don't need all this. You shouldn't have all this. You have to play according to your strengths and play with what you have instead of, you know, beating around the bush. So I think COVID was like a very good wake-up call.
Yeah.
Sorry, I digressed a lot.
No. Yeah. I think, you know, it's weird because I think for me also, my growth really happened in the COVID, in the pandemic. I was in Mumbai. I came back home. I've been at home till now, and you know, I saw, like, I think at 7,000 in January 2020, and you know, by the end of the year I crossed 25. So you know, it was a big growth, and you know, and I wanted to focus on YouTube more. Before that, I was, you know, studying, and you know, and it really helped me because I could totally focus. I didn't have any tension. I was at home, nothing to worry about. And you know, and it's very sad to say this, but you know, in a way, it was a blessing in disguise. But I know what has, you know, people suffered throughout the world. So you know, it's very tough thing to even, sometimes it feels like I'm kind of using what happened to other people's misery as, you know, something I should be proud of, right?
But you didn't cause it, no?
Yeah.
Like, in the sense, something happened. Shit happened in the world. Everyone's life's got this thing. You just found a way to what you can, because even you have to survive.
Yeah.
Or you need like an outlet to create. But yeah, we all feel that guilt every time. Like, if I'm getting to make a video and release it every week without having much of a financial pressure, it is privilege. It is a blessing and everything. But what can you do? You can't, if you put all of your energy for the rest of the world, you don't have any for yourself, right? Even you have to survive. Even you are a person. You can do what you can in your own capacity to help people, but guilt happens. But I really wanted to ask you, how did this thing about Malayalam cinema, in the sense, particularly South cinema and then Malayalam cinema, how do you focus on that particular niche? Because I know you've through your conversation with, I think, BR and all, or even the one with I think Vishal and Suchin and everyone. Was Rahul also there?
Yeah, Rahul was.
Rahul also. So you were saying that you started watching films only like 4-5 years back or something. It was not much of a past.
Like not films as in, understanding films basically. Before that, it was just for entertainment, occasional. You go to theater on someone's birthday, watch a film, come home. That's it. So even I think with people around me, friends, film was not a big thing. I think I was someone, who always like whatever's going, what is trending, I used to do that. So people used to draw Dragon Ball Z cartoons, and I was like, okay, I'll also draw, and it came out very good. I was good at it. I don't know why. And so these things constantly happened. And I think at my 12th board exams, Jabikwe?
Yeah.
So I think he was getting popular on YouTube. And I think my maths exam had like a 7-day break, and I was so pissed off. I'm like, just finished, get over. Like, no. And, I had finished everything, revision done. And like my sister was watching his video. I'm like, okay, I'll watch what it is. And I just binge watched 70 of his videos,
Right.
And I was like, okay, this is fun, man, And I always, even on the Orkut days, right? You remember those days? Even time, I used to make pages and about Dragon Ball Z, because that was, we were talking about that time. Then on Facebook, I still have 7 pages, about different things. And, I always wanted to create. And, my first video on YouTube was in 2011, when I didn't know anything about YouTube, which was, I uploaded an episode of Dragon Ball Z. And the description was, if this gets 100 likes, I'll upload new episodes every week. I click on publish, copyright strike. I have no idea what this means. I'm like, why can't they do it? This is my, I own this. I torrented this from someone. And that was my first video. And, again, I had no idea what a camera is, how you can film yourself and put a video. Like, I couldn't have fathomed these facts that time. And even later, when I saw Jabiko, I'm like, okay, this is fun. Let's try this. And I tried that. We tried some, I think, started with the Civil War trailer, Captain America Civil War. And then I think I did Pawan Kalyan's movie, Gabbar Singh. And that like kind of blew up, like it got 5,000 views. So people were like, oh, do this song, do this Telugu movie. And by that time, I had watched Bahubali, which really impressed me. But on my phone, pirated version. Which I, like when Bahubali 2 came out, I watched it 3 times in theaters. So covering it up. But I think in that sense, it started, I started to explore more and more. And I think the first 2 years, it was just, reactions, watching these songs. And then I think at the time it came, I was not really happy, whenever in college, people used to make fun, what are you doing? And, what is this reaction to content and dance and all. And for me, I was like, I was very strong in that sense. I don't care what you guys say. But there was a time when I was just going through my videos and like, I don't want to click on these, I don't find this attractive. What am I doing? I don't know anything about dance, why I'm reacting to dance. And I think that day I decided no reactions to dance sequence. I don't understand that. I'm studying filmmaking. Let's watch films and review them instead of doing these reactions. And then I started, watching these films, and it really, because I think the learning how to study a film, how to make films, and watching these films at the same time helped me. And that I maybe I had very unique perspective sometimes, and that clicked with audiences. And then suggestions keep coming on, check out this movie and that movie. And it's like a joke, right? Right now everyone knows Malayalam cinema is making the best content. Even Tamil and all, if you explore, there's much better content available than anything else we have in the mainstream. So it was no brainer for me. And I just kept doing it, and it just clicked. That's the only thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there was no someone who said, like, who introduced you to Malayalam films in your film school, or?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, it was just suggestions from people, and then
I think in film school it's always about international films.
Oh, right,
They
right,
don't
of course.
really because all the books, all the material is about that, right? So I don't think
Yeah,
they really do that. But also, it's a fact that I know why I got the clicks. I know looking at my parents, people know this is a North Indian. That really
yeah,
helped me. And what he's talking about our films, click on it. It's the same thing,
yeah.
a foreigner reacting to Indian content. But making them stay, subscribe, and want to watch more and more videos. That's what I have to do.
Yeah.
I cannot do anything about. They'll click on it about it, and if they don't like it, they'll move on, right? If they like
Yeah,
it, then
yeah,
only they'll stay. And that's what I try to do.
yeah.
That's
And
the
is there like a section of audience that also says that no, you have no right to review Malayalam
yeah.
movies and all that?
Yeah, always. Every third comment is that you don't understand the language, you don't know what you're talking about, and that happens mostly when I don't like a movie that's really popular. I think Prima, I had a big issue, and people
Oh,
were
you
not
didn't like
happy.
Premam?
I, it was like I didn't like the I'll not say messaging, but what the film is trying to say. It's like you tell. Okay, we are digressing, but you're telling me this guy met a girl, he falls in love, and it fails miserably. Then again he falls with his in love with his teacher. That also goes ahead, but then it again fails. And then you're telling me, okay, he always just looks at girls and falls in love. Maybe that's the lesson he'll learn later, right? And at the end, he again just meets a girl. Oh, she's the same girl I knew from childhood, and he just says, will you marry me? And then that girl also, okay, no, my fiance is a really bad guy, let's marry this guy. And then they get married, and that's it. I'm like, what are you trying to say? That's my issue with the film. Like, it's like
It's yeah. I don't think even the director said many times, and even the film, if you look at it, I don't think it's even trying to say anything. That's the best thing about the film.
yeah,
Like it's see, I think you watched it on OTT, right?
yeah,
Okay. So I think this was one of the first few Malayalam films that I'd seen
yeah,
in the theater. I knew nothing about it because there was no trailer that released or anything. They kept it extremely quiet. I think they released like a few minutes of a song or something like that. So I had no idea what it was about. No one had any idea. When you watch this on the big screen, right?
yeah,
Like for me, I'm a huge fan of films that just suck me into that universe.
yeah,
Like I don't even care about the story. Like just take me there, and that you do your thing, like whatever you're doing. It really felt like I'm inside someone's life, or I'm living that life. So in that perspective, and of course it's beautifully shot, music and all
yeah,
is amazing. And the thing is, I've seen these things happen to people. One of my closest friends, this is how it happened. Like in the sense, a lot of guys, he liked a lot of different girls. Everything failed. A lot of it was one side,
yeah,
and pretty much everything was one side relationship. But then after a point, he liked a girl within our friend circle. She also liked him back. They got married a year later. That's how it happens. Like in the sense, sometimes it just clicks because
yeah,
you find that person and you have some kind of like connection with that person, and then you figure out what to do with your life after that. In the sense,
yeah,
you have that friendship. I think that friendship that is there, it's not even about like a lusty kind of a thing. It's not like love at first sight or anything. You find a connection with the person, and
yeah,
then you ask him, you want to go out, and then it builds from there. That's how it happened to me also. I had a very strong friendship with a person at that time. Not strong friendship, but I felt like there's like a dynamic, right? And it just started from there, and it's pretty much the same story. Okay.
yeah,
So it's the movie is not trying to say anything. It's not pretending to say anything. Even in the subtitle of like on the poster, like the first poster that came out, I think the subtitle was the second film without any story, like something like that. So even he knows, he's just capturing life and he's showing it to you. If it connects, it connects. If it doesn't connect, it doesn't connect. So for me, it really, really connected. I watched it, I think 4 or 5 times in the theater.
yeah.
And yeah.
I think I mentioned in the video also, like I had the same feeling with Three Idiots. I was just I was lost in that world. I just wanted the film never to end, just continue. And now, if there are a lot of videos talking about what's wrong with that film, and I kind of agree, but it's close to heart. I always love and
What's
it.
wrong with it?
I think I don't really remember, but about that speech scene about Balatkar, and then there was something about the wrong messaging they are trying to provide. I don't really remember the point, but there's a video. I'll share it with you. But it's like there are problems with that film too, socially, the messaging, and I know that, but I still love that movie. And I think I said the same thing from Prima also. It's just, I think maybe I never experienced it, or maybe I don't agree with what that person or what's happening. It's not really helping in any sense. I understand the experience of it. Okay, I've seen this happen in real life. Okay, I understand it. But for me, it's not really doing anything other than that for me, because I'm not
Yeah.
used to this atmosphere. It's alien to me, so I
Yeah.
not really enjoy the experience of it. It's just alien, and then over that, the direction the film is going, I don't agree with it. I think that's the main thing, but it's always tricky.
So that's the thing about movies is that, so the story is one thing. I think it's not just the content of the movie that adds to the experience. When you watch a film, you watch it with your own experience of your own life.
Yeah.
It's like a mix. It's like 60-70% of that world and 30% of your experiences. That's what makes you experience. So if you've not had that experience, it doesn't have to be the same thing. If you've not seen that happen, or if you've not lived that, or at least a version of that,
Yeah.
then it's very difficult. You'll look at it as a film, right? You will look at it as a film and you'll say, no, 30 tha, like it didn't work for me. Okay. But sometimes it happens that it just connects so much that you don't feel like you're watching a film anymore.
Yeah.
You just feel like, okay, I've entered some world, and then you realize when the credits come, you realize that, oh shit, oh, we're watching a movie. We're in the theater. We come back. So that's the same thing. Like a lot of films that other people don't like really connect to me, like Interstellar. Right.
Yeah.
I know there are few people who really love it, but there are a lot of people who say it doesn't make sense. It's so stupid. Why is he over explaining everything?
Yeah.
And see, that's the thing with Nolan films. If you explain, also it's a problem. If you don't explain, you are not going to get it. So
Yeah.
I don't know. That is a different debate. But that film, I was also at a point at that time where I was trying to learn a lot about space. I'm still trying to learn things. It's not able to register in my mind. Like science is not. I'm very interested in science, but it just doesn't register in my mind. Like I can't make sense of the thing. But I'm trying. So that time I was learning a lot about space, and when coupled with a few things that about the father-daughter relationship and everything like that, so it really worked. Like for me, it really worked, and other people don't understand it. Like in the sense, they don't understand why it worked for me.
Yeah.
And that's okay. So like you connect to whatever you've gone through in life, or what phase of life you're in.
Yeah. I think Interstellar is my second favorite of Nolan. First has to be
What is
Dark
first?
Knight. The Dark Knight.
Okay.
It has to be like. I love moral ambiguity, That too with a hero like Batman and Joker, that's outstanding. The boat scene is favorite.
Yeah, and see, Dark Knight, I know it's a great film and everything, but I still won't call it like Nolan's best. In the sense, it is the best superhero film, 100%. Apart from, I think I have a very soft corner for Miles Morales, like Into the Spider-Verse. Like
Yeah.
I'm because of the style and everything. It was just something revolutionary, and it didn't get the attention I think it deserved. Like it deserves a lot more applause.
It did get
But
the Oscar, right?
no, I'm not talking about the awards. Or
Oh,
anything.
okay.
Among the people, like fans and everything
Yeah.
like that, it'll take them some time to remember that this film exists.
Yeah.
Right. So in that way, because of the art style and because of how new it was, like we've not seen anything like this. So I think it deserved a lot more. But in case of Dark Knight, like when it came out first time, I didn't like it because I think I didn't understand it also I watched it in this Chennai theater on like the first or third day, something like that, and they were just, every time there was a kissing scene, everyone was shouting. So it was that kind of experience. Everyone was like shouting and everything. Oh, I couldn't really hear what was happening. And also Nolan films, you can't hear much.
Yeah.
That's another thing.
Oh man.
So yeah, I think Nolan is like Interstellar's absolute favorite, and then comes, you have Prestige and everything. Prestige is
Like Prestige, I think one of the earliest films I ever watched of his, and it was so shocking. It was like, why? Like, how can you even think about these? Like, how can you think this? You know, that's.
I really miss that Nolan, like because I'm a Nolan fan. Like, the third poster is like Interstellar only.
Yeah.
But I just couldn't tolerate Tenet. Like, I was extremely excited to watch it. I didn't watch a single teaser or trailer before I watched the film because I want to build up that suspense inside and just explode on screen.
Yeah.
But, like, it was just like, these Sutli bombs that you get.
Yeah. It burst, right?
It just, some rain happened and it just fused out. Like, I don't know what I know he has a vision and everything, very grand vision and everything like that. But I don't know, that's why it didn't connect at all. And it felt like you're watching something like a masturbatory thing on screen. Like he's purely indulging in this. I didn't even like Dunkirk at first, but
Yeah.
like for the first time. Then I watched it again. I watched it again on at home only, and then that movie is brilliant. Like in the sense, yeah, you're trying to confuse people with time, but that's his intention is not to confuse. He's trying to push the boundaries of how you can reinvent like a war film, right?
Yeah.
War film also has this cliches similar to Sarpata.
Yeah.
Everything has its cliches, but how you reinvent and retell that story. Yeah, sorry, I think we digress a lot from what I asked you.
Before we come back to topic, have you seen that video about Tarantino talking about Dunkirk?
He
I think for he says it's the best film of the
Yeah,
that year.
I don't know if I saw a video. There's an entire, I think, 2 or 3 hour podcast of him talking about Dunkirk.
Yeah.
So I was listening to that. So yeah, I think it's on the Rewatchables podcast or something.
Yeah.
So yeah, I've seen that. Yeah.
I actually didn't have anything about Tarantino. I'm sorry. I
What?
thought
What?
I didn't have any questions about Tarantino.
I know, no problem.
Like,
That we can do separately also. Yeah.
Talking about Fully Filmy, right? Like, okay, I saw the video. There's video out there about how you started. I think the 2-year anniversary video you posted about, and I saw that, and great team, everything. I wanted to know how you start, like how you'd even think about it. I know it's not like you thought directly we'll have this big team or something, but how do you even start? How do you decide to quit a job? That's where I want to go.
Oh, these are this won't fit in like 2 hours, but yeah, I've answered this question like once. How I quit my job is like a completely different thing. But basically, I'm trying to shorten this as much as possible, like to keep it crisp. So I'll try. So since when I was young, I think I was much more creatively inclined than all of my other friends. Like if other people liked sports or going outside and playing games, I would also always be inside, be drawing something, trying to create something. So I knew at some point that I'm different from others, but I never knew that this could become a job. Like even I was stuck in the loop of computer science and like we have to go to engineering, and also I was really afraid. By ninth standard, I was in Bombay earlier. Then I came back to Chennai, and I met my friend Anand. So we connected a lot. He's currently my business partner now, by the way. So we go back to ninth standard, which was 2004, right? That was a really long time back. So at that time we connected on different levels, and we connected on one thing, that we don't want to do what everyone else is doing. I know we might not have a choice, but maybe we can try starting something. So at different points we wanted to start like a video game parlor at one point, like in 10th standard or something, when everyone was playing PS2, like PlayStation 2, and then used to play Raw and SmackDown, pretty much Raw versus SmackDown all the time. So we'd be like, okay, let's start something. We tried researching, in the sense we found like a place and everything, but we didn't understand that like starting a business needs a very important thing, which is money, right? we forgot that we had no money in our pockets. Like we literally had just pocket money, and we couldn't do anything. So we dropped that idea. We thought, okay, fine, we'll revisit it later. Then engineering happened. We landed up in the same college again. And during that time, I used to see a lot of people for quite a few years. Like I used to see a lot of people wearing sports jerseys, like football jerseys, about Arsenal, Man U, all of these things. And I was someone, like I said, I was someone who didn't like sports at all. Anand is like sports a lot, but I didn't like sports at all. I was much more into movies. I still didn't realize that it could become something, but like it could become a part of my life, or like a part of my profession. I was like, if these guys are having sports and football jerseys about, like, with their favorite players and favorite teams and all, why don't movie fans have anything like this over here? So we tried researching, and we found that there are these obscure random brands who are trying to do something. This was a time when e-commerce wasn't even popular. This was between 2008 to 2012. Okay. That time we were in college. Then we found a brand called Red Wolf, which was doing some really interesting things. Like they were taking a lot of our favorite 90s cartoons and everything and turning it into designs, our favorite shows. Okay, this is really interesting. Then we found that there is nothing like this for South India. We have so many movies. Our movies are some of the most celebrated, with maximum fan following, with heroes who have such like a religious following. And we don't have anything like this. Maybe this could be a space. Again, we started researching, tried finding vendors and everything. We thought, okay, let's create merchandise out of this. So we tried finding vendors and all that. No one took us seriously. Like you need like a minimum order quantity, a lot
Yeah.
of other this thing involved. So again, we dropped it. We also didn't have money, that much money, and we didn't have any experience of running a business, so we dropped it again. We thought we'll revisit it. After college, got placed in an IT company, which is TCS.
Yeah.
Then I realized within 1 month that I can't do this. But during college, I had done a lot in terms of setting up my base, like building like a portfolio. I used to take a lot of pictures. I started doing graphic design and everything. So indirectly, I had built a portfolio. So I thought, okay, now I knew that there is something called advertising and digital marketing, all of these
Yeah.
things, which I had no idea earlier. I always used to call it multimedia for some reason. Like
Yeah.
that's such a 90s word. But then I discovered this new world, and I discovered that there are agencies like who work for brands and everything. So I thought maybe this could be my calling. How I quit that company, like the IT company, and entered this, that's an entire episode. It's a very filmy kind of this thing. But anyways, I'd somehow decided that I'm going to leave this. I told my mom and everything that, just give me this much time. I'll figure something out. So I applied to, like, I think 50 agencies, and I got replies from three or four of them, and I got selected by one.
Yeah.
So I went for a job in Pune 3 months, and I learned quite a bit about this world and everything. But thing is, my base was in Chennai, so all my family, my friends, everyone is here. So I got a little homesick. So I applied to another agency over here, and luckily I got the job. Like while I was on vacation from that job, I went for an interview. I got that job. Here, this was exactly made for me. Like in the sense,
Yeah.
this was the exact job profile, the right kind of people and everything. So at this time, Anand was in TCS. He had also quit TCS. And then I said, okay, fine, come join this place. So he also joined this place. We spent around 2 years there, where we met our third partner, who
Yeah.
was Karthikeyan, who was third co-founder. He was a designer. So I used to come up with ideas. He was a designer. Anand was more into like the business and operations part of it,
Yeah.
right? Then by the end of that second year of working there, we thought, okay, now maybe we could restart the idea. Now we have a little bit of money, whatever we've earned as salaries. We have some experience of how to create a brand and how to market and everything. And only thing we don't have is like connections with the industry, like this textile industry, all of these things. That we'll put some work into it. But before that, me and Karthikeyan started this Facebook page. Okay, it's called Minimal Collywood Posters, which was pretty much what the
Yeah.
name is. Minimal Collywood Posters. So this was on Facebook.
Yeah.
That time, this was 2014. At that time, Facebook's organic reach was another level. Like
Yeah.
it is almost nothing now. I don't even use Facebook anymore. But at that time, Facebook was the only thing. Organic reach was another level. We started creating these posters, which that time none of the people hadn't seen some stuff like that before. Taking their favorite movies and then converting them into like minimal posters and everything. So it got a huge fan following. Within like 4 or 5 months, we got like 1 lakh plus fans on Facebook and everything. Now we had like a base also whom we can sell this product.
Yeah.
So we asked the fans, like, if we started like a merchandise brand, would you guys support it? We got hundreds and hundreds of replies. Everything is positive. Okay, now we
Yeah.
got the confidence also to start it. Then 2015 in Jan, we quit our jobs. We started doing the groundwork. We went to our vendors. We found a vendor who can supply clothes and everything, like a minimum order quantity. We tried building a website. Us being computer science students, we still didn't know how to make a website, which is like very shameful. But we outsourced it to someone who's sitting in Gujarat somewhere, I think in
Yeah.
Ahmedabad or something. It was supposed to be launched 3-4 months before, but somehow in June 2015, they somehow built the website after a lot of back and forth, and then we launched on June 2015. And from first day we started making orders. So that time it was just three of us. We used to come up with the designs. Like I'd come up with the ideas, give it to Karthikeyan, he would design it, and then we put it on the website. We had just 5 or 6 products. We'll get orders, then we'll have to process those orders, and then pack the orders. Sit and pack the orders, and then we have to call India Post, who was our courier service that time. And we had to go to one place and give that. If it was all being done by us at that time. And only after like 6-7 months, we found someone who was interested in an idea, who decided to, invest a little bit more in it. Then we started building a team in early 2016, and then it took off from there. And we launched like our first store in a mall over here. And then we launched a few more stores. The team started getting bigger. Everything was going great. 2019 was amazing, like our best year ever. And then 2020 happened. COVID hit, and it just like I said, it made us look at things in a completely different way. So yeah, now it's all about again getting back from the ashes and then
Yeah.
we're trying to not trying to get back what we had, or rather trying to reinvent now, seeing what to do. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is the short version, but
Okay.
there are a lot of different. But yeah,
Looking back at this, journey, what was it that, you said, okay, I'll take this risk, quitting a job, starting something new, investing the money there. What if it fails? How do you, what was,
yeah.
pushing you
So
ahead?
it's basically that we had nothing to lose. The only thing we could lose was time.
Yeah.
But our bank accounts were almost empty. Like, what is the worst thing that's going to happen? We put this, we give our best, and then that goes off. It's not the investment amount and everything was so small that it's not going to be much of a dent. Yeah,
Yeah.
then we have to go work at something and then get that money back. We didn't even think about all of those things. We'll just like we have this base, we have this very strong base, and we're going to sell it to them, and it's going to work, whatever it is, or we'll pull through. And we had learned enough about how to create a brand and everything, and I had this confidence that we will be creating things that people have not seen,
Yeah.
right? At least at that point of time. Now it's not like a new idea anymore. It's like there's so many more merchandise brands now the challenge is how to stand out from this, what we've done before, destroy all of that, and what is the next thing we're going to do. That is the challenge right now. But that time you don't think about all of those things. You're just
Yeah.
so invested in this and all the problems that go on that you question yourself a lot of times. Like you feel like, should we have not started this? Should we have rather just stuck to a job and let someone else tell us what to do and then do it? The question comes here and there all the time. But then it gives like every time you're in doubt, right? Like example, if I'm in doubt and then I'm driving around the city and I see someone wearing a Fully Filmy t-shirt. Every time I'm driving, I see someone wearing like two or three people wearing a fully. That gives you like I don't know if it's like a nasha, but it's kind of like it's a reassurance that whatever you're making, it is part of someone's wardrobe, it is part of someone's life. Whatever small part it is changing something about their life. So that gives you like a satisfaction, and then it doesn't solve any problem. It doesn't solve the problems that you have, but it gives
Yeah.
you like a little bit of strength that okay, come at least do it for these people.
Yeah.
So yeah, that doubt will always be there. How did I take the plunge? Is like, what's the worst that could happen? Otherwise, I'll get another job. It's
Yeah.
not, but I really didn't think of that.
About this Facebook page, was it a planned thing to, build up an audience, or it just organically happened?
It was pretty organic.
Yeah.
We had, because me and Karthikeyan, we developed like a really good bond in terms of my ideas. He'll convert it into a design within like 10 minutes, 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah.
We had a great rapport. So we thought, okay, why don't we just start making something? We knew we wanted to make the business happen, but this wasn't connected. Like we were going to start it next year, hopefully. But this was something we just started. It worked and it became like the perfect base.
Did any of you had a marketing background or anything like that? Apart
While
from your
starting,
apart from your working experience at the agency.
No. All of us were engineers. Like
Yeah.
me and Anand were computer science engineers. Karthikeyan was like a mechanical engineer. So no background, nothing. I used to watch a lot of ads and I used to write about a lot of brands. Like I had my own blog at that time. I think it's still there, but I used to write about Coke and how it's connected to Breaking Bad and all of these things. So I kind of understood a bit about brands, but none of us had like marketing background.
But it's interesting that this Facebook page, right? I think in marketing it's called market testing, because you're testing the market.
Yeah.
Does it work or not? And in organic way, you just did that.
Yeah.
So that's pretty interesting.
But we didn't plan anything
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
It just happened. Like most things in life, it just happened. Only thing is, if you're putting in that work to make it happen or not. Luck is not the only factor, right? You do everything to make luck work. Otherwise, luck doesn't work.
I had some technical questions, because I don't know about the legality of what you guys do. Because is there any issue, because you're taking an IP, basically a film, and making your own art. So is it a copyright infringement or anything like that?
There are few certain guidelines
Okay.
that ensures that you don't do it. In the sense, in terms of a court and everything, a court doesn't have a copyright attached, so that's completely fine. There were a lot of products which were borderline, whether it's copyright or not copyright and all that. But the thing is, like from the beginning, we wanted to try our best to get official license, and we did
Yeah.
that. We started with official licensed products. Like our first project was actually, even before we started Fully Filmy, our first project was OK Kanmani, which was
Yeah.
Mani Ratnam's film, right?
Yeah.
So that happened when we asked that question to our Facebook page, like for our Facebook fans, about whether you'll support our merchandise if we launch it or not. Seeing that, Mani Ratnam's office got in touch and they were like, we have this film coming up and would you be able to create the merchandise for it? And we didn't have a website yet. We didn't know what to do. We didn't have the products and all ready. But anyway, we made designs. Like, this was at a time when, right before starting the business, me and Anand and
Yeah.
all of our other friends, we'd gone to the Himalayas, right?
Yeah.
And we were trying to, back from there, me and Karthikeyan coordinated. We made few designs happen. Him and my sister went to pitch to Madras Talkies, and then that happened from there. So we set up like this temporary website on InstaMojo, and then we made that happen. Our first project was an official merchandise project, and then it took a lot of time to convince a lot of people in the industry about this is an idea, like we are not even going to charge you anything. It's like, it's all on us. It's going to be free marketing for you. So whenever you tell someone that you're doing something free for them, right, and over and above that you're even giving some royalty to them, they are going to say okay. So somehow we cracked that. We made it happen. Initially it was difficult to convince people about merchandise and everything, but over time now we're at a place where production houses are automatically come to us and saying we should do something like this and all that. Here and there were few doubts about it, but most of our products right now are official licensed products. Even Tamil or even Marvel, even CSK, all of this is like official license. So that problem is not there anymore. And whatever, if there is something borderline, like if it is on the other side, we'll just take it down. We'll review it and we take it down.
So talking about all the negotiation side about royalties, and like, how do you even begin with, as you said, right, there's no one to answer you this, like, go to Quora and ask them and they'll give you the right estimate. Like, how do you do it?
So that's what it's negotiation happens when you're charging someone for something.
Yeah.
Right. If you say that this is what we're going to do, we're going to charge you 5 lakhs. Okay, then they'll be like, I don't need this. Okay. So our model was such that we don't charge anyone anything. This is extreme. It's just free, and over and above this, you're going to get a royalty.
Yeah.
So there wasn't much of a negotiation there to begin with.
Yeah.
They were just impressed that okay, these guys are like, they're doing something. Maybe it'll help and all that. So they just trusted us. And right now also negotiation happen in terms of royalty, like here and there. It's not much of a big deal.
Yeah.
It'll be maximum within like 5% up and down. So I think that's not a problem. Our model is such.
Yeah.
That
has it ever happened that like someone said, okay, I'll have this royalties, you do whatever, and then they saw the response and they're like, no, I want more, or something like that? No, right?
No, thankfully that hasn't happened. So that's what the number one thing is, that they are just making a movie. They made a movie. They have this product ready, and then someone else just does an extra bit of thing for them. And because of that, they see so many fans wearing something about their movie on, like they are walking billboards, right?
Yeah.
So in that case, they're just happy. So I don't think we faced anything like that.
Yeah, I think for them right now, it's not a business thing for it. It's not something they want to earn money from right now. Do you think in the future it will, like, because it's getting so popular? And I think
no. Right now they do want to earn money from it, and it really depends on who's the production house. Most production houses, like, you don't get to see 5 Bahubalis every year, right?
Yeah.
There's only one Bahubali in 5 years. One film that defines everything. So it really depends on that kind of a project. So if you're that kind of a production house, they kind of try to dictate their terms, and they make sure that it's on this particular scale, and they can make it happen also.
Yeah.
Most other production houses, they don't have much power over the stars. Like, if they want to advertise this in any way, make the stars wear it and do all of those things, they can't do that. But these particular production houses, they have like a much more streamlined approach, and they also look at it as like a money perspective. Plus, mainly it's like a marketing effort. That's what Disney and everything did successfully. They've created like this proper base over 50-60 years, right? Easily, much more than that. 1928. It's been almost 100 years.
Yeah.
Like since Walt Disney launched his first cartoons and everything like that. So all of those creative assets, they created such a strong base that that could be let out to someone, interpreted in one way, converted into products, and that can create a lot. So for them, they figured it out. Like even not just Disney, it's WB, all of these companies and all. That's the thing about Americans. Like, not to take away anything from Indians, but Americans know how to sell their shit. Like, they will sell anything. They will literally sell shit to you, and you will pay for it. So that is one thing that's one admirable thing about Americans and their entrepreneurial spirit, right? Very simple example is the difference between your Doordarshan Sports, like DD Sports, the televisation of that. Compare that to a government aided televisation of some sport in America. Their packaging, their camera angles, their everything is so different. Like, they put extra effort into selling the shit out of it.
Yeah.
Over here, we say that we don't have much budget and all, but we don't think about going the extra mile. Now it's completely different. Now you have so many different channels. Now there are so many different championships. Like, you have a hockey league, you have a football league, you have all of these things.
Kabaddi
Now
league.
we've understood.
Yeah.
Kabaddi league, and it's really working, right?
Yeah.
Now we've understood it. Now we're on track. Now it's about how to make even more, generate even more sports people from here. Like, with all the stuff that's going on with Neeraj Chopra right now, the focus is on celebration and party and showing all that India won. So the focus is in the wrong place. It's okay, you celebrate. It's a big moment of pride, but this should be like, we should create like 10 more, 15 more, 100 more Neeraj Chopras like this. That should be the focus. But we're focusing in the wrong direction. And he also said that, like, okay, I won a medal, but it's not about that now. I have another competition now, and I want to see more people come up with this. So I think we have to kind of direct our focus, and then only things can start changing.
I think he also said, right, he cannot even participate because
he fell sick.
Yeah.
He fell sick because of the functions, and he's not able to participate. Like, I don't know, man. Like, we run behind these past victories more than future possibilities.
Yeah.
So when that happens, then you don't grow much. Like, you'll be stuck somewhere for a long time, or rather, it'll take you a very long time to grow.
Yeah, coming back to Fully Filmy, right? I think my biggest for me is like, it's very difficult is to take responsibility of things, right? Running a YouTube channel single-handedly, I'm responsible for what I do, right? No one else has to face it. No one else's life is in danger or livelihood is in danger. But when you have so many people working under you, you have to, you cannot today say, I'm not working today, I'm not feeling well. You have to, right? You have so many people who are working and come, they have their livelihood because you are sitting there working. So how do you deal with that responsibility? Isn't that sometimes limiting in a way?
Sometimes it feels limiting. All this accountability and responsibility is what makes you work even harder. Like, sometimes when you think like, no, I don't want to do this. Is it worth doing this anymore? Then you think about these people who are there, and then, okay, fine, let's take the step for them at least. It makes you think of new ideas and new ways to make more money or work harder or whatever it is. So, and the idea is that down the line, my main aim is to create more leaders, so that like everyone is accountable on like for their own work. I don't even have to say anything, so that I can concentrate on strategies and bigger picture and everything. Now is not the perfect time. Now it's all about survival. It's really about survival and sustenance. And then next year, hopefully, if it doesn't get worse than this, next year we'll be looking at growth. But you need that accountability and responsibility sometimes. Otherwise, you're not going to grow. You're just going to be lazy and stuck. So a team is important. How big that team is, how they can function on their own, that is a completely different thing.
Did you, throughout your journey, did you have your parents' support or family support from any three of them?
Of course, like support in the sense, are you talking
like
about financially or emotionally?
Monetary. No, of course, emotionally.
In the beginning, in the beginning, like the first amount of investment, we had a little help from my mom. She didn't completely believe in the idea, but she believed in us, like especially me and Anand, because we've grown up together, right? And she knows that we won't do something just for the sake of it. We work our asses off to make whatever the results are. That's a different thing, but we work our asses off to make something happen. So she half-heartedly believed in the idea, and then she gave some part of what she had, and which was it. That's what the amount was, not like really big. So it is okay. It is necessary to build something, but it's not like it's going to affect someone if if it doesn't work out.
Yeah.
So yeah, in the beginning we had financial support, like for that first setting up. Then no.
Yeah.
Then you're on your own.
People listening, watching this, there's this debate, right? That you could do it because you were privileged. That's a
Yeah.
big debate about anyone doing anything. Oh, you were privileged. You had your family support. We don't. I have to, help my family. I cannot quit a job. So,
Yeah.
what would be your response to that? How do you respond to it?
I understand. Yeah, I have privilege in the sense I have a house. I
Yeah.
have an understanding. I have a very, very progressive, understanding mother, and I have great friends who support me and all that. But it doesn't take away from how much work I put into this. We also built it from nothing without any contacts or anything like that. But I have no time to talk about, oh, we're so awesome. Like, talk about my struggles and all of that. Everyone struggles, but the struggle is just on different levels. And I get this thing all the time that it's easy for you to start, but what am I supposed to do? I can't change my life, no. Like, in the sense, I'm going to make the best of what I have. Like,
Yeah.
there are a lot of people above me also, or I can point out and say that, oh, you have everything, you have no problem in life and everything. But they have different kinds of problems, and their repercussions are also very, very different. So I understand where they're coming from. But if they think about how others are getting ahead because they have privilege instead of looking at their own life, then they're not going to grow. You're in a situation. If you're like, I've also been in a middle class household for a long time. Then a lot of people question that, oh, you're talking English and you're talking like this and all, and you're saying you're middle class. What am I supposed to do with that? Like, middle class itself is a big spectrum. And secondly, the English and all of that is extra effort that I put. I've been in the same school as everyone else, but I read a lot more. I watched a lot more movies. I worked on this craft over and over again. And there are a lot of other reasons also why language, all of this is important for me. Look at your situation and see how you can improve that instead of looking at others and complaining. You're not going to grow, whatever it is. I
Yeah.
understand your problem, but you're not growing, no? What is the point? Otherwise, you'll be stuck in that. And sometimes we use these situations to give ourselves excuses of not growing.
Justifying it.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah, so you might have some insecurity that I can't do this, some kind of self-doubt or something like that will be there. That's why we say that, oh, my situation is like this. Understood, but what are you going to do next?
Yeah.
So, and that's what, like, a lot of people who apply for jobs also, they say that I come from this background. My parents are like this. I don't have money. I'm studying this. I really want to do this and all that. Firstly, that person hasn't even said what he or she wants to do, what role they want to apply for. That's what one thing I look at is I don't even care about a college degree. Okay.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter where you come from. Can you do this work or not? Can you prove to me that you'll be taking care of this or not? So the only thing I want to see is that has that person created some work on their own? That is the only thing I look for. Like, if
Yeah.
someone can create something on their own and is also already showing it to the world and everything, that is all I want. So if
Yeah.
you can do that, well and good. Otherwise, I can hear about your complaints and excuses, but that I'm also not. We are putting in this much money, we are making this much money, and we have to survive, we have to grow the business. So we are not in the business of giving everyone chances, like giving everyone chances, because we don't have that money or any kind of a backing, right? We
Yeah.
are also trying to survive. Your skill really matches it, or if your work really matches, if that's impressive, I really don't care about anything else. Where you come from, what is your situation, all of that, that is completely fine. Just prove it in your work, whatever it is. Even if it's like a drawing or whatever it is, at least I know that you put in the effort, right?
Yeah.
That's a problem that a lot of people don't understand. They think that this person owes me this. No
Yeah.
one owes you anything. There's something that Anurag Kashyap also said in one of his talks, right? He said, when you enter the industry, you always have this choice of complaining about others. Oh, you're nepotism. This guy came from here. This guy came
Yeah.
from here. They have all. Okay, you keep complaining, but are you growing? Are you making any movies? Nothing. He just started making movies. He says this fact that no one owes you anything. You owe it to yourself. You have to make your place in the world. The film industry is such a competitive world. Why should someone come to you and tell you, oh, yeah, take this. Please take this. We don't have anyone. No, there are hundreds of thousands of people who are landing in Bombay every day trying to make something in this industry. And you have to think about them also, right? And they all of them are skilled also. How you get noticed is a completely different thing. I guess that's the only thing I can say. Focus on your work and not focus on your situation. Everyone comes from different places. No one is born equal. we are born into tough circumstances, but you focus on what's ahead in front of instead of what's behind you.
Coming to social media, for both of us, I think we use social media so much. It's part of our business, part of our day-to-day life, and we have to do it. But I think even you made a video about, not really talking about the validation to get on Instagram or anything like that. So in a sense, people will call us hypocrites. You are talking about you are using the platform for your sake, and then you're telling people not to indulge into it too much. What's your relationship with social media?
I'm not saying don't use it. I never said don't use it.
Yeah, of course. I'm talking about don't go about likes and the validation.
That's what. Validation is important. It's not that it's not important. Like if I'm putting something out there, of course a part of it, like I can't pretend to that I don't like the appreciation that I get. An artist, why does an artist do something? Like I'm not saying artist, but generally if you look at an artist when he paints something, there's one part that he does it for his own, for his or her own satisfaction. Another part is that you get meaning out of that. Earlier, artists never used to make much money, but the satisfaction of creating something and then other people appreciating it that serves as fuel and money for you. That gives you some sort of satisfaction that money can't buy. Money can buy other things, but it can't give you this particular satisfaction. So validation is important, but it can't be your number one metric, right?
Yeah.
You can't let it get to your head, which is very easy right now. Your focus is on creating first. Like think about that, creating first. Think about your audience. What do you find in common with both of the things, your personality and the audience's personality? And then if it works, you'll get appreciation. But you can't think just about likes and then you create something, because you will not create good work. Some people might be extremely talented that they know exactly what the audience wants and they just do it accordingly. But running behind likes and everything, it's just going to fuck with your mind. Like it. That's why Instagram even stopped the like count, right? They stopped showing likes at one point. I think now it's back, but I've set it off for myself. Like I don't like to see how many likes other people get and all that, because it really fucks with my mind. So that's what I'm saying. So I don't know if there's a sense of hypocrisy, because I realize how validation is important, but I also know that is not my main focus area. If I make it my focus area, I've suffered through it. I've compared that's what the comparison part, right? If you compare yourself to someone else, you're only going to get disheartened. You can look up to someone and get inspired and try to be, try to create as good work as that or even better work. But if you say that, no, this person has more likes, if I don't get it, then I feel sad. We've become wired that way, that we depend on this validation to even live. Like a lot of people are really affected by this. So I'm saying there is a boundary, or like there's a line to everything. Beyond that, if you use it, it's just going to harm you. You'll get to know later. So that's nothing I can help with, but that's what everything is fine if it's done in moderation.
Yeah. Do you personally use social media?
Yeah, I have a problem. That's what I'm saying.
No.
I have this problem.
I'm talking in the sense, right? Like I use Insta only for share my content, talk to people there, like be active there with the viewers. I use Facebook just to share my videos, and that's it. Personally, I have a personal Instagram channel. I don't even open it. Like, what about you?
Facebook, I don't use at all, except for logging into Hotstar or something, like, or logging to login with Facebook, any app that asks for it. I was very addicted to Twitter at one point, and especially since last year, when Sushant Singh passed away, right?
Yeah.
That time, I wasn't his biggest fan, but I really loved that guy. Like I loved his work, and I always used to look forward to his work. So I was really attached to it, and then it just started on Twitter. It just became like this horrible pile of, how do you say? It just became such a negative space. It was extremely toxic, and people just come to Twitter. They just want to release all the hatred they can. And I know certain people who use Twitter only for that. Like whatever frustration they have in life, they come there and then they just say bad things about things. So at one point, I deleted Twitter from my phone for a long time. I didn't use Twitter for a very, very long time. Now I have it back on my phone, but now I have this realization also that when it goes beyond a certain point, I'll just delete it. And now Twitter also, I don't find it that interesting. Not much is happening. I've started following certain people who I'm learning a lot from. So I'm using Twitter mainly for learning.
Yeah.
So I make it a point that whatever thing I'm putting out also I'll try not to be negative about something. right?
Yeah.
I'll more try to highlight the positive things, even if it's about a film or something like that. If I don't like a film, I won't even talk about it. I'll at least try to be, non toxic about it. Sometimes some shit comes out that I can't help, but I'll try my best. Instagram, yeah, I use it for all of your purposes, whatever you said, sharing my own content and all that. But sometimes you find yourself infinitely scrolling. So I've set a timer for myself. Like,
Yeah.
it can't go beyond 1 hour. Like, you have app timers on every phone these days. So as long as you control yourself from that, I think you're fine. Yeah, I don't really use LinkedIn here and there. I use just to just keep track of what's happening in that world, in the professional world. YouTube is another, but I like YouTube a lot because
Yeah.
I know I'm really learning from it. If I click something about investing, YouTube is going to give me much more videos about the same thing, and then I know I'm learning a lot. Yeah, there is a point where you stop learning and you start doing something. That
Yeah.
boundary is there. Sometimes you spend so much time on YouTube that you never get to put what you've learned into practice. So that is a problem. But otherwise, I like YouTube is something I really like. Other
Yeah.
than that, I don't really use much.
I think for me, like just because I actually put those timers 30
Yeah,
minutes on each app, and like I have to post something, I have to remove the timer and do that. But I
yeah,
think
yeah, yeah.
YouTube is like is like once you start, like some days there's nothing to watch, and some days there's so much, like where to start from. And
Yeah.
there's no like you do a course right online, you get a certificate, you feel like, oh, you
Huh.
did something. You watch
Yeah.
10 great videos and you feel like, oh, I wasted my time, I was just watching the screen, and all of that stuff happens in your mind. It's
Yeah, I
really
have.
weird.
I've had this particular business idea. It's not complete yet, but it exactly deals with what you're talking about. If you attend like a course on whatever Udemy or Coursera or
Yeah.
whatever it is, you get like a particular certificate. If you're really learning something from any different social platforms, why are we not gamifying that experience? Maybe
Yeah.
like, is there like a way to gamify that? So that is something that I'm trying to work out and trying to formulate. So hopefully by next year I'll have some kind of progress. But there are few apps who are, how do you say, gamifying the experience of learning, but it is only for that particular platform. It
Yeah.
doesn't take into account like all of the stuff that you've learned. And this is something that Kunal Shah also says, right? Kunal Shah is the founder of
Yeah.
Trade,
Yeah.
and he said a lot of time that we don't look at learning as a fun thing. Like, it sounds itself like such a nerdy thing to say, right?
Yeah.
Like, learning is fun. But the thing is, if there is so much right now, there's so many people who are doing really interesting things in different fields, and all of that really helps you shape your character and then get ahead in the professional world. Our education system, all of this is wired in such a way that we've always learned, no, learned is the wrong word. We always studied or mucked up just to get marks or
Yeah.
entry into certain colleges, and then after that, it doesn't matter. There's so many unemployed engineering graduates. What about them? Like,
Yeah.
but now there are different platforms where you can learn from. Now people are also realizing that school and college is, wow, it's learning is not the number one priority there. School and
Yeah.
college helps in a lot of things, like building you and shaping you as a person, like your interpersonal skills, your social skills, interacting with the other sex, and all of that. It really helps. That's what learning now you can learn from pretty much anywhere.
Do you think I had saved this for later, but let's come to this.
Huh.
Do you think COVID has helped change the industry, like with all these education apps and all of that?
100% it's changed. Like, whatever change was going to come 10 or 15 years later has come. It just, the world has fast tracked by
Like it has
at
played
least 10 15
a
years.
catalyst, yeah, right?
100%. It's just sped up a lot of things. Like, if I had to talk to you, right, would we have had this chance before COVID? I
No.
very much doubt it. If we might have to, maybe some kind of magical coincidence has to happen. I'm in Goa, and then that time we meet, do this over person. But now everything is so simple,
Yeah.
right? And that, especially in terms of learning, also there are so many new apps that have come out, and now people don't have to spend so much on college degrees or doing the specialized course and everything. So in this, anyone who comes from a slightly underprivileged background, who don't have, because parents save so much for your education and everything, right? And they take student loans and all of that is going to disappear. Like, down the line you can learn from pretty much anywhere. Only thing is, there are few certain apps who are using learning the wrong way, I think, like teaching coding to 4-year-olds or
Yeah.
that I don't know. Maybe 4-year-olds are different now, but I think you don't need the pressure of coding at that particular point of time. And it might have started with the right intention of empowering kids to, get into coding from an early age. I don't know what the intentions are, but the repercussions are very different because parents are still Indian parents. They will put extra pressure to go like create, like get very strong at coding, go get high marks and all of that. You don't need that pressure at that early age. And there are quite a few people who are very vocal about, do you know Nilesh Mishra?
Yeah.
From the slow interviews,
Yeah.
right? So he talks about this particular thing a lot about White Hat Junior, and I think Byju's also, I'm not very sure, but White Hat Junior definitely he talks about that. My children don't need this kind of pressure, and I don't think any child should take this kind of pressure at 4 years old. Like let children, live their childhood instead of being bogged at. Yeah, so there's like good and bad. It's done a lot for the learning industry, but through all of this also, I think I see quite a few friends, parents who are teachers who are really struggling with this online learning thing. It's hell. Like you have to look at 40-50 students, and their parents are also slightly technologically they're not very up to the mark, right? In the sense they really struggle with that, and you don't have that connection. And especially when the students are writing an exam, they have to write an exam in front, and how can you look at 50 different screens, and that was small, and you have to pay attention whether they're copying or not and everything. So I think in that way it's really bad, but what else can you do, right?
Coming to the education system, right? Like one thing I found, right, that we are never taught how to learn ourselves, the self-study part, how to research. We are never taught that. And I think I faced that throughout my life. Like I remember, going to, when I joined my college, I did the animation course, and, they asked me, what do you know about animation? And I told them, I don't know anything, and I'm here. So, I don't want to have any preconceived notions, which, go against what you will teach me. And I told this to my father, like, I said this in my interview, and he said, nice, good. Today I'm like, what nonsense was that? When I entered the college, right, there were people like me who know nothing. There were people like who already knew all the things, and throughout the college time they were taking freelance jobs. So that was the big divide in our classroom. So when the theory classes were there, because the majority or the people who are in the limelight, they didn't want to attend it, the classes would be shifted or cancelled, or let's just study this. And so because they already knew all, wanted to work instead of study, my knowledge got my education time got sacrificed. And I felt then that forced me to study on my own, find out how to do things on my own. And I think throughout my life, even when I started YouTube, I had no idea what to do. I just I should take edit in Windows Media Maker, then edit in other software, because I didn't want to get into Premiere. It felt so difficult. And today I feel like it's so easy. Why did I do it? It's because I didn't want to go out and search. And today I know that skill. If I want to do something, go look up. I've watched so many videos, as I said, on YouTube, which I learn. I have so much knowledge from the videos, not from my experiences or my education. So it's so sometimes infuriating that why people don't want to do anything. People study because they're forced to. They're going to school because they're forced to. They want to give exams because they're forced to. If you don't, they'll not do anything. It's so sad. And later then all of them are struggling.
I think it's a very cultural thing. Like in India, it's all about syllabus.
Yeah.
These are the textbooks. Your school is also going to tell you you're not encouraged to ask questions.
Yeah.
If you ask a question about some particular subject, even if it's about history, the teacher will be like, don't act too smart. Okay. Don't ask these unnecessary questions and all that. Or they'll say, okay, ask me after class. Yeah, come to my tuition and ask me. Or they'll just disappear. After class, they won't be there. And even parents will be like, they're also bound by this thing that only if you study this, will you get this in your life. Us as a culture, we are always like, look at this and then this will happen. That's all. Look at a textbook, this will happen. For example, if I think it's Israel, okay. In Israel, from an early age, when a child goes to school and comes back home after school, the parents don't ask, what did you do today? Okay. They ask, what question did you ask today?
Yeah.
Right. And when we do this from such an early age, as a person, as a culture, as a society, you become much more curious. Right. Israel is one of the brightest nations, in the sense, the people who come out of there, students who come out of there and all that, they have so much more knowledge about the world. I'm not saying they're the best or anything like that. But in terms of curiosity, in terms of learning, they know a lot more about different issues, different world, is because they are taught to ask questions, they're taught to question things and be curious from a very early age. That is something that we don't have over here. You don't know whom to blame, because it's a miracle that this country has survived for this long.
Yeah.
Right? Without, things could be much worse, is what I'm saying. We're not one country. We are 28 countries living in one particular border. We have so many differences, and over that we've somehow made it work. And we've seen a lot of struggle. We were like very prosperous nation. British came, took a lot of it away. Then we spent the rest of like 50, 60 years trying to recover. We're still recovering from that. Unemployment, so many things happen. Population. You have these many resources, you have this much population. So
Yeah.
you have to fight, and it's all survival of the fittest. So I think learning in the sense, curiosity has never been our priority, because we have too many other problems to deal with. But again, like it's a case with individual people also. You can't use that as an excuse. It is a fact, it is a reality, but what can you do after this? And I don't know how Indian education is changing things. I'm not very sure. I think they have a few new subjects and all that, but still it's going to take quite a while to build that curiosity. But
Yeah.
that's what COVID also has kind of fast tracked all of this.
Yeah.
Like you can learn anything now. It's only a matter of whether you put in the effort or not now.
Yeah.
That's as simple as that. Whoever puts in the effort will get jobs, will get more money, will be able to create more things. Otherwise, you'll be stuck in a job that a lot of people do. That's completely fine. But down the line, your jobs might not even be there. It might get automated, or that industry might disappear, whatever. If you don't constantly learn, then you're going to disappear. That's
Yeah.
harsh reality.
And about asking questions, I remember these. Did you take science in 11th, 12th?
Yeah.
Yeah. So remember these, labs, chemistry lab, and all used to go practicals.
Yeah.
It was just about, okay, you saw the book, do the same thing, fill it in your journal, submit it. You ask any question, they're like, why are you asking questions? And and I understand their situation. They have to do it fast, otherwise they have to take up time, extra time. Then they'll be shouted at why the students have not completed. And it's all about finish this, submit it, go study, because board exams are coming and we want you to get a good result. So our school's name is popular. Oh, we got so many pass outs. Like, it's just a race.
Yeah, and also teachers, like over here or even anywhere, I don't think teachers get paid enough.
Yeah.
Like, they're supposed to get paid the most. You might say that money is not the most important thing, but it is an incentive, right? For a teacher to spend extra effort on one particular person when there are 60, 70 people in the class.
Yeah.
A child asks something, if you want to spend extra effort in it, it has to be worth something. There are some teachers who are very, very wholehearted about their teaching. They take extra effort irrespective of what money they make. Teaching is a real passion to them. But for most other people, teaching is a job, and if it doesn't pay you enough, then there's no incentive to perform better or to inspire more people. Just do your job and get lost. That's all. That's their motive. You don't know whom to blame in this.
It's like our education is about fear. It's not about curiosity. I still get nightmares that my 12th board exams are here and I have not studied. I still get those nightmares.
I get it like once or twice a week that I failed in maths or I failed in computer science, and even after I wake up from the dream, for some time I really think, oh shit, my life is completely fucked now. I failed this maths exam. Then I realize, I'm 30 years old. I don't have to worry about this.
Okay, are you satisfied in life?
No.
Have you reached at that point?
No.
But what is satisfaction? What is satisfaction for you?
What is satisfaction? Right now, I'm thinking a lot about financial satisfaction. Not for me to buy more things and everything like that. It's really not about material pleasure. I'm thinking about whether when I'm 50 or 60 years old, will I be okay?
Yeah.
Right. Will I be like okay in the sense I would still want to be working, creating things at that particular point of time, but will I have enough to support me at that point? So that's what I'm trying to work towards right now. But there are few things about which I'm satisfied in life. Like in terms of my relationship, I'm more or less, there's like a sense of comfort, right? You don't have to pretend to be something else. You can just be who you are, and then you know that there's a person in your life who really cares about you. So in terms of my family, all of that, I'm satisfied. But financial satisfaction in terms of the future and all is something that I'm worried about. What is satisfaction? A really deep question. What is satisfaction? I guess it's not having fear of something going wrong. I guess like you're fine. You don't have everything, but
Yeah.
this is okay. You don't have to be afraid of losing everything. I think that's satisfaction for me. If you ask me right now, because it's a very deep question.
Yeah.
But what is it according to you?
You know, so I also quit my job. It was an internship, and they were giving me like a job after that, and I said no because I didn't enjoy it. And I think one thing I realized is I hate being helpless. You know, that I cannot control what I'm doing. That's when I'm very pissed off. So I think for me, satisfaction would be when that never happens. I'm in a situation, where I'm in control of everything. You know, I don't drink. It's not. First of all, I don't taste. I don't get it. Like why? The other thing is that maybe the people say once you try just getting drunk lose control. I'm like, no, I don't want to. That's the fear of losing myself, the control that I think I'm a control freak, I would say. So I think for me that is satisfaction when I am in control. That's why I'm satisfied now. The money thing, recently watching Tanmay, learning about financial freedom. Before that I was like, I'm very happy with what room I have, with this one laptop, this setup. I'm having a blast of my life. But when I learned about financial freedom, I understood, okay, that's the reason I want to earn money. Not because I don't care about getting bikes, watches. I have no craze for these things, but just enough money to support this, and have enough money for family and everyone. I'm done. That's it for me. I'm very happy doing this, and that's what's, I think the process matters. And let's come to this, man. We have to talk about this.
Oh wow. Yeah.
And I think it's becoming a meme now in the comment sections.
Really?
Yeah.
Like, which comment section?
I think the recent ones, video without this book mentioned cannot happen.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Nawal Ravikant and Atomic Habits. I think someone mentioned about that.
But man, this film, I'm taking it slow. I think at 30-40 pages till now, just highlighting what I liked. And man, like, it's stuff that but you don't understand it. And this happens when I watch a movie like Too Big to Fail and The Big Short about the recession and 2008. And when I'm watching, I'm like, okay, I get it. But after the movie, I cannot explain what really happened. That was the situation. I think in the books like this, Naval's Joe Rogan podcast, these things help you to decode it and frame it in a way that I get it now. The whole thing about it's not about the goal, it's about the process. It's about the system you build in. If I think the line is, if a goal is failed, it's a system is failed, it's a flawed system, something like that. But yeah, you tell me. I'll just look for it.
See, that it's exactly why I like this book. In the sense, all of these things. In the sense, you're aware of all of these things. It's inside you.
Yeah.
But the thing is, we are so busy with our lives, just doing one thing from the other, that we fail to look at ourselves from another perspective. And that's what this author has done. Like, he's observed the human psychology from an out of body experience. He's seen that this is what happens. Like simple stuff. Like he says, if you want to work out, right, keep your workout clothes the first thing that, if you want to work out in the morning, keep your workout clothes right next to your bed the first thing in the morning, right? It's a trigger to perform better. Or if you keep your shoes out there, in the first thing that you step out, you see your workout shoes, it is better than it being inside the cupboard. It is a very small difference, but it makes so much of an impact. And I tried it and it works. That's what it's this thing about likes and everything, like we discussed earlier. That's an outcome of what you do. But if you think only about that, then you're going to fail. Like after 3-4 days, you'll stop doing it, or whatever, 3-4 months, you'll stop doing it. But if you really think that, okay, this is me, this is what I do, not that I'm going to do this, or this is the goal I'm working towards. No, this is what I do, and I just work accordingly. I'm serving this image something. I've really started, since this book, I really started looking at life as like a video game, like a never-ending, infinite video game. There are different levels, but there is no point at which it ends. Maybe there is, but I don't want to think about that. It's all about getting that score up, right? You do this, your score goes up. You do this, it goes minus. But it is not like you're competing against anyone. You're life is like a single player game, and it's all about getting better at the score.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you die, you're going to come back. You get another chance. You do it, and the score keeps going up, and there is no point at which the score will break or something like that. It just keeps going up, and your identity, your personality, along with that score, also keeps getting stronger. So I've not had this much of an impact from any other book in a very long time. This book, I think before this, it was Shoe Dog, which I could relate to a lot. In terms of impact, like I couldn't put the book down. I finished in like 1.5 days or 2 days or something like that. I just couldn't stop it because it was just telling me things that I know already, and it was telling me that, oh yeah, you're right about this. So when you get that from a book, it really helps. And the thing is, it's so simple.
Yeah.
Unlike other books, right? When it says something, you think that, oh, kya bol diya, like amazing philosophy, oh wow. But then you can't apply it in your life. Like you're like, oh, what does this mean? How do I do this? But this is like you can start right then and there.
They're freaking graphs.
Sorry?
And charts and graphs in this, like about how to do it.
Yeah.
It's like outstanding.
And the author also, he really believes in this. Like he really believes in this, because when you buy the book, you just don't buy the book, you get access to his newsletter and everything. He gives you like these worksheets and all of that. It comes in your mail. You just enter your link and then it comes in your mail and all that. In his newsletter, which he puts out, I think every Friday or something, he does this 3-2-1 thing. Like 3 ideas that I have, 2 philosophies, 1 quote or something like that. And he's built that image. It's such an inspiring identity. Like the idea of this is who I am, and I'm going to dedicate my life to this. So, and he's really consistent with his beliefs and everything, is what I'm saying. So it goes much beyond the book. It's actually a life. It's like a lifestyle.
Yeah.
Like if you do this, you're bound to get better. There is no chance you can't get better.
I love this quote. You do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems.
Yeah.
This is an amazing line.
Yeah. And the book is full of this. Like every page, there's like a line like this that just blows your mind, and it's not like hard to understand. That leaves you confused also.
I was re-listening to the Naval Joe Rogan podcast in the night and in the morning just to prepare for this, and it was. I realized one thing that 2 years back, if I had when it came out, I wouldn't have related to it or understood it. I think now that I have these questions, I have experienced things, and I'm looking for answers. This video answers it.
100%.
It's like very weird. Recommending it to. I know when I watched it, I'm like, everyone needs to watch it. I share it on my YouTube. I share it on my Discord people, and people are like, okay, I don't know. Okay, he's like, I'm like, what happened? Like, why is it connecting with me, not with people? And then I realized it. Okay, they are not asking it yet. They are not asking what he's telling. That's the reason.
See, this is a much more relatable, simple example is a movie, right? There are so many movies that I didn't like the first time I watched. For example, take Pulp Fiction. Okay. I watched it for the first time on my brother's VCD or something that he had. I think I was 10 or 11 years old when I tried watching Pulp Fiction. And he says it's the best movie in the world. My brother said it's like one of the best movies ever made, Tarantino. I didn't know who Tarantino was at that time. I watched it. I'm like, what the fuck is this? What is going on? Why are these people not doing anything? Why are they talking all the time? Then I watched it 15 years later, and it is completely different.
Yeah.
It is the same movie. That movie hasn't changed, but you have changed, right?
Yeah.
That's what. So a movie is like a mix. Like I said, it's a mix of that story and your life story. You've seen so much. You've seen more movies. You've had a little more wisdom or more experiences that have shaped you in different ways. And so you look at the same thing in a different perspective. And there are so many different movies like this. Luck by Chance also.
Yeah.
I didn't like it at first, but now I get the struggle, and I watched it 3 times in 3 days, like recently, like few months ago. I made it, like my wife watched it, we watched it together, and then I watched it another time. That's the same thing what you're talking about, right? You have to go through certain experiences in life, or something has to happen to you, and then you'll start relating to things. Otherwise, you won't relate to it, and that's also completely fine. You'll get it at some point.
Yeah. One thing Naval talks about, that we act like we want to sound smart. And that's so true, right? Like even for you, like for Bhardwaj Rangan, like I have to say something so they get impressed. They're like, oh, this guy knows his shit. I know they're like thinking about me, and I have to impress them. And it's true, right? It's it's like maybe once the first was that quote. First impression is the last impression. And being an introvert, that's not in our favor.
Yeah, exactly. And I completely get that. Like, even when I was like trying to do conversations with other people, like especially with BR, like Baradaj uncle, even I was like, oh, how I have to do something, like I have to make something different. So I tried coming up with a concept, and then I tried being smart about it. But we are wired that way. We can't help it. But
Yeah.
people like Nawal also help you understand that the real skill is try to explain the most complex things in the most simplest way possible. That's what really works. Like anyone can confuse people, whether unintentionally or intentionally. People tend to confuse other people, but if you take a concept and if you can explain it like you're explaining it to a 5-year-old, that's like a real skill. And that's what I'm also trying my best to work at. Like earlier, whenever I used to say something, most people won't get it because I'm also thinking in my head at the same time while talking on how to make this sound smart and intelligent. That's not the point.
Yeah.
Your aim is to make someone understand something in the best way possible, in the most simplest way possible. Then comes the next layer of making it in the most interesting way possible. So whoever has this particular skill is going to go far in life. And that too, and right, the thing you said about people not wanting to ask questions or look for something, right? I've faced it so many times. Like I get so many DMs on Instagram asking me such questions which they can easily find out on their own. Like
Yeah.
it takes 1 second of like a Google search to get the answer. Where is this movie playing? Okay, if
Yeah.
I'm suggesting a movie, people ask me where is this movie playing. I mean, just Google it, you'll get it. You'll get it in 1 second. Now I've started to look at this like instead of looking at it as an irritating thing or a problem, I want to look at it as an opportunity. People have lesser and lesser time, or they feel like they have lesser and lesser time, so automatically they ask lesser questions. They're less curious about things. So how can you use that to your advantage? Make that into something, in the sense telling people about something, helping people discover something, and which they can't do themselves. This again, Nawal says this, right? You get wealthy by creating things which society doesn't know how to get yet.
Yeah.
Yeah, they know they want it, but they don't know how to get it. And the answer is here is clear. Like they also know how to get it. It's a Google search, but use that to your advantage.
Man, that guy, and one just a warning thing, that it's not that okay, he said this, he's a great guy, so we should like every word he says, it's
Yeah.
we'll listen to. It's not like if he says something I disagree with, I'll disagree with it. I don't have to agree whatever he says, right? Never like put people on pedestrian. Just use whatever he's saying for your benefit and move on. Like that's really important.
So I'm reading this book right now, the Almanac of Nawal. It's almost over. So in that also, the forward of the book is by Tim Ferriss. Okay, Tim Ferriss is another great podcaster, life coach, all of those.
Yeah.
So he's a very good friend of Nawal, and he says this particular thing, that the thing about Nawal is that he realizes that people put people on a pedestal and treat them like gods and everything. And his aim is that he puts out things to the world and he tries to get people to question it. Like they are free to question him or his beliefs, but you have to come prepared for it because he has certain answers which will convince you otherwise.
Yeah.
So that's really true about like how we put so much, especially in our country. We create gods out of so many people. We have so many gods, firstly,
Yeah.
which are already there according to different religions and everything. And then we make gods out of politicians, out of actors, out of celebrities, and we think that whatever they say, whatever they do is right. But we don't know what is going on in their lives. We don't know what all flaws they have or what they're really thinking. We have no idea. And when we do hear something bad about them, there are two reactions. Either you completely support that person saying that it's impossible and everything like that, and you fight with other people for that. The second reaction is that your entire idea of this image gets destroyed, and you lose a little bit of belief in yourself also. Like you're like, how did I put my belief in such a person? I'm not worth this. There's a lot of shame and guilt and all of those things. So yeah, this thing of making gods out of people it's harmful for like any society. Like it doesn't help you grow in any way.
Why do you think it is like this? Because it's like, is it again back to how, like, as you said, right, you're getting DMs about like where's the movie. Like we are so spoon fed throughout our lives that we just don't know, like that I don't know what I don't know. And I felt that throughout my life a lot, and like how to know, like hopefully this podcast helps people to where to begin with if you are lost, where to start from and how to start from. That's a
Yeah, I
big
don't
deal.
know if, yeah, I hope that happens. I don't, people are going to have some enlightening experience or something, not like that. But yeah, the simple thing I want to take, put forward as a takeaway for just be curious about things. Just try to be curious. It'll just, being curious just helps you live a better life. It just makes your life so much more interesting. Step out of whatever you know, and you don't have, that's what, even in terms of traveling, right? You say that traveling changes your life and everything like that, and I felt it. I can't really explain it to people because again they'll see travel as privilege,
Yeah.
right? Like, oh, you have money so you're traveling. I worked hard for it. Like, I worked hard my ass off to save 6 months worth of my salary for this particular trip, and I've done that. I've not taken money from someone else, and I've done that to experience it. But again, now travel is also not like, you don't have to travel to some other country to experience something. If you're from Chennai and you go to Madurai, you learn something new. Even in Chennai, if you live in a particular area, if you go to another area which you don't know anything about, you learn something new. You'll learn about some restaurant over there, the food which you don't get in your area. You'll maybe look at some place that people hang out at, which gives you like a new perspective or something. So it's really not about money or something like that. So travel is one thing, and even like a Google search, everything is at your fingertips, right? If you just ask one question on Google, it's going to reward you with so much. Even if you watch a single YouTube video, if you just say like, what is personal finance, if you just look at that, or think of something simple. What is that? Stock market. You don't know anything about the stock market, just write stock market on YouTube, watch one video. YouTube is just going to throw more and more of that shit onto you, and then it is up to you to
Yeah.
absorb all of those things. So yeah, short version of whatever I want to say is just be curious. Is Yeah, it just makes life so much more interesting.
Yeah. Do you think it's the fear of change? That's why we're not asking questions because we are comfortable and we know that if we ask questions, if we figure out something new, it will change things.
Yeah, that is there 100%, because it's weird that some people say that, there are some people who make fun of your knowledge.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's happened to you. If they say that, if you know about a fact or something, or if you look at movies a certain way, for example, he's like, "Oh, you're acting too smart." What is acting too smart? I have put extra effort to learn something,
Exam में आएगा
and
क्या? Yeah,
yeah, that's
that's
what.
I've heard a lot.
Exactly. So people are used to like a certain template, and they
Yeah.
feel that if you are anything subconsciously, if you are anything outside of this particular circle of society, you might be looked down upon. Or that's what that fear of change comes out of that. The fear of non-conforming to what everyone else is doing, because most people, especially in our country, we think about what others think rather than thinking about our own happiness, right?
Yeah.
Plays an important role in pretty much everything. What you're studying, who you're talking to, who you're getting married to, how much money you're making, what house you're living in. Everything is very simple example. I don't know who said this. I think it was again Kunal Shah only. He says that in Indian houses, the hall is always really decorated.
Yeah.
The living room, you have the best sofa, you have a big TV, you have these all showpieces and everything. And whenever you go to that person's house, the host of that house, whoever lives there, he's telling you about one thing and all of those. But when you go to the person's bedroom, usually when you're visiting someone's house, you don't go to the bedroom, right?
Yeah.
But actually, that bedroom will have nothing. It'll have one bed and basic things, which is okay, completely fine. If you look at an American household, their living room will be very normal. It'll be just functional seating, but their bedroom will have these particular lights. They'll have like your bookshelf and all of those things nearby.
Wow.
So they really care about their individual happiness, their space, their private space, much more than what other people's perception of them is. Of course,
Yeah.
they also put a lot of value in material things and everything like that, but their own happiness comes first.
Yeah.
Over here, other people's happiness comes first. Like, not other people's happiness, other people's approval, other people's perception of your life or what level you're at is what is more important. And that works in two ways. There is positive and negative in this. Here we are much more closer to our families. We are much more generous to other families. We stand up for not stand up for other people, but we are there to support your closest people, right?
Yeah.
It really plays a negative role in how happy you are. People people don't realize that this is a very short life. You don't know when you're going to go. You're going to go 100%, but people
Yeah.
think that they're immortal for some reason. Rather, they're always living in the fear of death rather than just, they are so afraid to do certain things which might end up as mistakes.
Yeah.
So they never do it. So they just stay in that bubble. Let's just keep our head down and do what everyone does, and then we'll disappear. But you're human for a reason. Like, we get to do things that animals can't do. They can't even think of doing those things. So might as well make the best use of what you have, whatever little life you have.
That's really interesting, and it's sometimes an alienating experience also, because first of all there's this criticism, right? Oh, you are following the West.
Following up?
Following the West, becoming a Westerner,
yeah.
because that's how they think. And in a family, like, I don't care about what I'm wearing. I don't know. I can't guess what I'm wearing under, right? Whatever is visible, it's okay. That's it. Go home.
Yeah.
That's done. But the family, doesn't approve of that. Why, no, do things like this. Why? No, you don't care, but we care. And there's always this friction you face, right? And it's really sometimes really goes and it's very difficult to make them understand. And it's hard. For us it's wrong to ask them to forget what your whole life has been about, forget what you have learned and believed in, because I'm saying this today. And it's really hard to say that.
But that's what, but you have to be empathetic about them also.
Yeah.
Especially, you don't have to care about every single person you meet. You have a certain family and you have a few friends. This is what I believe in. For a long time, I didn't even think about what my family thinks and all of those things. But now I've realized how important the few people in my life are, because they've always been there for me for whatever. So a few things I can do for them, and few things which I absolutely don't believe in. I'll just be honest. Your parents love you at the end of the day. They want your happiness. Deep down, they want your happiness. They are just somehow distracted, or sometimes they need the approval of people around them, because that's how they've been brought up, and they can't change after 50-60 years. They can't change overnight, right? Their perception can't change overnight. So you also have to put in the extra effort of helping them understand certain things, or at least helping them come to a point where you agree to disagree. These few things I'll do. Just don't worry about it. They need some sort of like a security, like they need some belief that you'll be fine, especially when it comes to studies and all, especially when it comes to careers and everything, right? In Three Idiots, again, at the end of when Farhan, right, Madhavan's character goes to his dad and he says that I might not make the most money in the world, but if I do this, I'll be happy. Isn't that what you want? Okay.
Yeah.
And it works out. You have to put that extra effort. So children are also so afraid of talking to their parents. They think that they're monsters, or someone who's going to like just destroy. But at the end of the day, they're still your parents.
Yeah.
What they do want your happiness. So you also have to put a little bit extra effort.
Coming to YouTube. Do you edit yourself?
Yeah.
The whole video. I love the editing, by the way. It's it's like a trance. It's like you get into the video and then you take me through this journey, and then you end it with such a conclusion, and like, oh wow, I didn't realize where the time went. So love that editing.
Right. My wife complains that like for a few videos she's like, what the fuck? It's just so bland. Like it's just going like this. So I think I get this thing about editing, but I really don't know what it is. But I know I love the process. That's why a lot of people when they send their profiles, like if you need an editor or anything like that, for now at least for the next foreseeable future, I can't do that, because editing is a process that I really enjoy a lot. Like when I'm editing, I'm in some other world, like I'm watching Interstellar or Prima, right? I disappear into that world and I'm playing around with different things. It really feels like when you're a child and you're just discovering like a new toy and placing things around. Sometimes it gets frustrating because there's always a sense of like a self-doubt, whether people will get this or not, or whether people will find this interesting. Is it too boring? Is it too long? Should I cut it short? Should I do this thing and all is there? But when you're actually in that process, when you're playing around, and then when you see a particular example, when something happens, when a music hits a particular beat, right? It's a dopamine rush. So that is something that I really want to do. And I can't explain this editing style to someone else also. If I want to hire someone in the future or something like that, I won't be able to explain this. Like, I don't know. It's not about good or bad, but it's me. It's like my personality in that. So it's when people ask, explain your editing process, I really find it difficult. Like I think a lot of really established editors also will say the same thing. Like there's this video by Every Frame a Painting.
Yeah.
How does an editor think and feel, right? And he also struggles to do that. And there are also these established editors who say that you cut on instinct and not on knowledge. You have your tools, but everything is about instinct. You feel it, and you know that this is going to make the audience feel a certain way, and that is editing, and it really can't be explained. There are few techniques and all can be explained, but that process of or how to edit, you can't really encapsulate.
I think that's what makes the video, right? It's kind of a storytelling. You're telling a story, and there's always like the footage you shoot is nothing, like what you have posted at the end. It's a very different thing, the way you cut it, the way you add, pauses, what you add to the video. And I think that process is really, takes a lot of time and efforts, but that's what, makes it fun. Just recording, even okay, live streaming is okay. I don't need to edit. It's out there, but it's fun to interact with people. But when I want them to think this, when I want them to, show this to them, how would they respond? How would they react to it? And then going to the comments. I think that's where all the fun, it is. That's what I like.
Yeah.
Okay, talking about the balance in life, like, have you found that balance between family, your work, and now YouTube? And
no, I don't. I don't. I know I'm not going to find that for a few years. I've given up the idea of finding balance because, especially when I'm not saying one is better than the other, but if you have a government job, right?
Yeah.
Example, you go at this time, you do certain things, sign few things, make some whatever presentation, and then work on sanctions and everything. By 5 o'clock, that world ends.
Yeah.
You don't have to think about that at all, because that's about the government, and you come back to your own life. Yeah, you have to think about your problems and everything. Maybe you'll think about your colleagues at work, but other than that, absolutely nothing. It's not going to affect your this thing. You go 23 days a day, 23 days a month, you get this particular salary. After a few months or years, you'll get promotion. There's like a ladder, you'll get up. You don't have to think about anything. So sometimes I'm like, will that life be better? Like,
yeah.
you look at these some also, I feel this thing about knowledge and overthinking also, because I don't know, I have not gotten it diagnosed or anything yet, but I have this anxiety of overthinking and everything, and it really plays a part in interpersonal relationships and everything like that. So sometimes I feel like if I knew less, if I didn't do this, if I didn't know about this thing, if I was just doing what other people are doing, would I have been more happier? Because I know a couple of friends who are really happy in that life. There are also a lot of people who are very unhappy, or they're just going with the flow without doing anything. The idea of balance completely disappeared, because in a creative job, you're always thinking of creating something new. And especially the entrepreneur part is one thing that it just consumes your entire life. Not in a show-offy way or something like that, but really you're not only thinking about yourself, but you're thinking about your company. You're thinking about the people, the salaries, your funds, and what new you're going to give to the audience. So it's like a full-time job, and you find it hard when you're having these conversations again with your partner or with your friends. You're talking about the same things over and over again, or rather you're just talking about work most of the time, because there's no distinction of work is your life is your work. So I don't have this idea of balance. I've given up, and now I'm actually finding it fun. And suppose I feel that it's getting too much, like example, I plan to write on Saturdays and then shoot on Sundays. Sometimes it doesn't happen. Sometimes I feel like, no, I'm not doing this shit. Okay, even if I enjoy it, sometimes I just want to sit and do absolutely nothing, or just watch some show or movie all day long, something like that, and just not move, order in something, eat, and just pass out like that. Sometimes it's fine to do that. So whenever I feel it's getting a little to my head or something, I make it a point to just stop. But regular work-life balance does not exist, unfortunately.
I just I get so much flack from my family right now.
Yeah.
because they are eating and I'm like, no, I have a video, I have to edit it, I have to put it out, like, and they're like, my father like, I just came back home, now you are working now, where I didn't even meet you and all, like how to, like it doesn't work like, they're like, you are your own boss, who have to answer. No, it doesn't work like that, it's
Yeah.
so hard sometimes to explain all these things.
But it's better in the sense like what your dad's saying is also right. In the
Yeah.
sense you also need a certain work from like break from work. It's better for your body and for your mind. If you're just stuck to your whatever gaming chair and your editing chair and you're just doing that, I felt myself getting I feel the pain now. Like for a long time, if I sit 6 hours continuously and edit, I really feel it. So I make it a point to get off every now and then, go have some water, go talk and come. And there are few things that I do as part of my day. In the starting, in every morning, most of the time I make chai and then we sit and then we have chai and we talk, or we're either journaling or something like that. So there are particular stipulated times for few things. Like there's a routine, and a routine really helps. Sometimes your work routine can go off balance, and he's right about you being your own boss, right? In the sense, if as long as you plan a little bit of in advance that I'm going to do this during this time, another time I'm going to chill or be with family or something. So I guess you're also right, he's also right in some particular way. You have to do what you have to do. What he's saying to take a break and then spend time with family, that's also important.
Yeah.
But yeah, again, it's about finding a balance, right?
Do you have downtimes,
uh
creative
yeah.
blocks, downtimes?
Creative block, no.
No.
I don't have, no. In the sense, ideas are not the problem at all.
The
Like at any
motivation.
point of time, motivation, yeah, motivation is always a problem. Like but I don't get this creative block of having a trouble with idea flow and everything. Ideas are always there, 200 300 ideas at any
Yeah.
particular point of time. It's about choosing what to pick on, which is, it is interesting, it's also frustrating. Downtime 100% is there. Like sometimes especially when you're running a company along with your partners, whatever it is, you still feel like, I can't do this today. I really can't do this today. I don't have motivation to shoot or edit or do anything like that. So it does happen pretty much
Yeah.
pretty much every day.
Do you have anything like any escape from it or something? You watch something,
uh,
you read something that helps you out?
I try to go for walks. My basic this thing is to go out for like 1.5 hours, like walking, jogging, pretty much 5 days a week. Apart from that, yeah, I just sit and I watch some show or something. Or now I used to draw a lot before, like sit and then just it's not good or anything, but just sit and take your mind off from everything else and then draw, or just chill. Like
Yeah.
I don't know how to explain chilling, but just do nothing.
Yeah.
Sometimes when you do nothing, right, the most interesting ideas come up during that
Yeah.
time also.
True. True.
We don't get that aspect of doing nothing very often. Like we feel
Yeah.
that we don't have time in our lives to do absolutely nothing. No, it's everything is going to be there. That show is going to be there. That movie is going to be there. Your work is going to be, everything is going to be there. You only have to escape from it and come. That is not disappearing anywhere.
Yeah.
There is enough content, enough stuff in the world to keep you occupied, but you have to find your way. You have to find your whatever sanctuary that you call it.
Last question. I always ask this. Do you believe in leaving behind a legacy?
No, man. I used to think, but there's no point in this legacy bullshit. But I, what I feel is that I'm part of this. Like, if you take the ancient pyramids, right? You don't know who the sculptor is. Like, you don't know the particular name of. You don't know whether Ramesh worked on putting that brick or not. Okay, Egyptians are not
Yeah.
Ramesh, but example, you don't know
Got
who
it.
did it, but there were like some 10 or 100,000 Rameshes who worked together and made that pyramid happen, and that is existing even today and it's going to exist for centuries after this. And that is who I want to be. Like, in the sense, I want to be one Ramesh who just does his work. He's just one small part of a very, very big puzzle, which hopefully helps more and more people. That's what, with every video or whatever that I do, I don't want to be the be all end all solution or someone who's been thought about for a long time. But when I started out, I didn't have too many people in like around or some role models or anything. All the role models that I had was, apart from my mom and certain friends, everything that I had was over the internet. Who are like people's movies whom I watched, like example Tarantino, for example. Even though he makes these violent, gory movies and everything, but there is a certain passion that goes into creating his vision. So people like this are what have inspired me, but they didn't intend to impress some random Raunaq in some different corner of the world or something. They put everything into it and they made it happen. So I just want to be the same thing.
Yeah.
I don't care about being remembered, but if whatever work I do, if it helps someone start something new, especially in our country, who people really find it difficult to start certain things, like the stuff that you said about their situation, their background, their family's approval, or anything. So there's always so many doubts or this thing that they have. Can I do this? Will I be okay if I do this? Whatever work I put out, it should be a small driving factor in someone making a certain decision.
Yeah.
Like a song exists for like a 4-minute song can like brighten up your day. Like
Yeah.
that's enough. The intention was something different, but that's enough. So that's really what I want to do.
Yeah.
Legacy and all is not important.
The title of this podcast is like, movies and entrepreneurship. And you took something you really loved, movies, and build a business around it. What would your advice to people who want to do this, want to take something they really love and build up something like this?
Do it by all means, but realize that entrepreneurship is really not as glamorous as you think it is. You see the startup culture in Bangalore and all that, everyone's getting funded. It's not like that. Those are stories of like 5 or 10 people.
Yeah.
But you don't see the million people who are struggling every day. So I'm not saying this is the hardest thing in the world or something, but it's a really different ballgame. You have to be prepared for it. And just make sure that you have a base, like especially like a financial base. Whatever you put in, just aim to recover more than that. That is basically business. If you can do that, that's completely fine. And try to create something which does not exist, or it develops on an idea that already exists, but it's like offering something new to people. It doesn't have to necessarily, if it helps someone in their life, like if it's solving a particular problem, it's great. That is what tech companies mostly do. But other than that, if it has some influence in some person's life, if you create something that people get joy out of, whatever, focus on that particular thing. Focus on your end consumer and just listen to that. Their feelings are more important than whatever brilliant idea or whatever you had. So this money thing and your end consumer, that's all.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think you have to take a step. What you learn in 1 month of entrepreneurship cannot be learned out of like 4 or 6 years of your studies, or if you're doing some MBA or something, it can't teach you that. It can teach you a lot of basic things. Idea of working as an entrepreneur in a startup, whatever it is, it teaches you so many things that most other things don't, and it really humbles you.
Yeah.
Whatever idea you have about yourself, whatever, if you feel elevated, this is going to just punch you in the face and tell you to shut the fuck up and sit down. There's a lot that you have to learn and come. So it's a really humbling experience.
Yeah, man. Thanks for doing this. This was amazing. It went
man,
overboard. It went overboard. I'm sorry.
No, not at all. That's completely fine. I'm sorry. We couldn't make this happen earlier. So
That's
it
all
was a little bit hectic earlier.
Yeah,
so
I get it.
I'd be love to be like part of like future streams or discussions or whatever. So let me know. But yeah, just sorry I couldn't make it like 2-3 times.
No, it's all right, man. You're a busy person, yeah. You gave it 2 hours. It's great. Like I ruined your Sunday, but
no, not at all. It's not that I'm a busy person. I actually act very busy most of the time. But no, there are. Especially this particular point in terms of business, personal, everything is going all over the place, and sometimes you need a little bit mental energy to deal with that. So I get drained out very easily. So that's why maybe earlier I said no to a lot of different things. But other than that, it's not a busy person. All that I love to do this, and I really respect you for what you're doing for this part of the country. In the sense, for a long time there was no one talking about Malayalam films or Tamil films, regional films, and everything like that. It was all about Bollywood and stuff, right? So when other people talk about people from other states and everything talk about this part, so it really helps. And I don't care about what other people are saying. There will always be few people who say that no, you're not from here, you can't talk about it. I don't believe in that shit. Anyone who's really talking about something with like a passion with an intention to make more people watch it, spread this word about some work of art that really deserves it, I think it really makes a difference. So
Yeah.
thanks for that. So I really respect for that.
Thank you, man, and looking forward to your videos. Looking forward to Fully Filmy, and yeah, man, have a great time. And again, thank you, man, for your insights. I hope it's for me, it was
Anytime.
valuable. It was great. I would, while editing, I'll be listening to it all. While when it's out, I'll be like rewatching it. So thank you for that. Thank you for that, man. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, man. I hope audience also likes it. But
I'm sure they will.
Okay.
Yeah,
Cool,
man. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
So guys, that was the podcast. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed, hit the like button, share this video, let me know in the comments your thoughts. If you haven't subscribed yet, check out other podcasts and other videos, and if you like them too, do consider subscribing, and I'll see you next time.